Well, good morning, real estate fans. Alice Lema here, broker John L. Scott here in Southern Oregon. And today we're going to talk about three things you should consider before you purchase waterfront property. Now, here in Southern Oregon, waterfront is super big because it's part of why we live in Southern Oregon. We have amazing rivers, including the mighty Rogue, the Illinois, the Smith, the Applegate. We also have a lot of creeks and streams, and then we have some lakes and ponds. Now, most of our residential properties are on a running waterway. We don't have a ton of residential lakefront and pond. We mostly have running water. So the first thing I want you to know is the state of Oregon owns all the water. Why does that matter? Because it's basically public. So if you're buying riverfront, creekfront, you could easily have recreational traffic. You could have boats, you could have rafters, you could have people fishing. And it's okay as long as they're not destructive or harassing. That is part of the Oregon lifestyle. So, tip number one, know that your public waterways will be occupied by the public. Hope that's okay. And usually the waterfront properties, it's just kind of a nice feeling. A lot of us, enjoy the waterway and we're accommodating of the public as long as they're not intrusive or destroying anything. Number two is obviously flood. So a lot of people don't know that the flood insurance, if you pay cash for a property, is not required. I highly advise, and I would actually beg that you would get flood insurance, even if you pay cash. And I worry that people pay cash for properties and they don't know because there isn't a lender there saying, hey, you need flood insurance. So just keep in mind, that's tip number two. If you're paying cash for a waterfront property and you're in a flood zone, no, you might not know that flood insurance is highly recommended. Plus, you know what? When you go to sell it again, the resale is higher, even if because the lender for the next person would be happy to know that the property was already insured. And in some cases, that can be transferred over to the new owner at a lower policy fee, which is great. So the third thing I want to mention is that the FEMA maps, the federal government, FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, they're the ones that have the FEMA maps. You can go online and see any address that might be in a flood zone. And two quick things I want to mention is sometimes you can have a special survey done called an elevation survey, and you get an elevation certificate. Sometimes you can have one address taken out of the flood zone, just bump, it's gone. So they're not super expensive surveys. They do take some planning because our surveyors are sometimes really busy doing other things, but it's a good idea if you own waterfront property and you think there's a chance that you might not actually have to be required for flood insurance, you can have this special survey done, this elevation survey, and get an elevation certificate and prove that flood insurance is not required. I still highly recommend you get flood insurance, even if it's not required, because in my opinion, it's not if it's going to flood, it's when. So that's our little chat for today about waterfront property in Southern Oregon. And we have some beautiful, beautiful opportunities to purchase, especially on the Rogue River and Applegate right now. So just give me a call, give me a text, 541-301-7980. That's 541-301-7980. And let's chat. Let's go out and look at some. And it can just be an amazing experience to live near the water. And while we're out, we're going to talk about three things: the public access, because the state of Oregon owns the water, the FEMA flood maps, and you can take your property out, and that cash buyers are not going to be required to get flood insurance, but we all hope and pray that you do. Okay. So enjoy our beautiful Southern Oregon lifestyle. Till next time, Alice Lema, broker John L. Scott here in Southern Oregon. Bye now.